Hey, I'm Wispy, and I've been animating for a while, a long time before I started this YouTube channel. Most of those were just simple loops or crappy animatics, and luckily I have one of these saved back from 2020. Here it is. Yeah, it's not super impressive, but I remember being kind of proud of it at the time. My favourite anime ever is Fullmetal Alchemist, and I think I made this while watching the original series. But when I look at this animation now, I can only see the problems it has. I know I can do better. So today I want to remake this old animation and hopefully give you guys some tips to make your animations better. So to start, let me critique this animation. First of all, there are a few visual mistakes. The shading is a bit jittery and isn't very consistent. Plus, there's a weird line at the bottom of the neck that keeps disappearing. These are basic mistakes that can be fixed very easily. A more complicated issue is I don't like how the braid moves. It should move more towards the end and less closer to the neck. However, in this, the entire thing moves all at the same time, which is why it looks so strange. Next up are just personal visual preferences. I do my shading very differently now, and I think this has way too many highlights, which makes it look weirdly rubbery. Plus, all the highlights are the same shape, which doesn't help indicate texture. As for the expression and pose, there's just nothing behind those eyes, and overall it just doesn't look enough like Edward, especially without his iconic hair spike. Next, the background is too boring and it has no movement. Plus, with a plain blue sky, it doesn't allow for any interesting lighting that would integrate the character with the background. Okay, so how did I fix these problems? First of all the elements of the scene are in different files, and I'll assemble them later. So the clouds, sky, leaves, and character are all different parts. When Edward blinks, that's also a separate file, but I'll get to that later. I changed the background from a plain blue sky to bright red with yellow clouds. This is far more visually interesting, plus makes more sense for the series. I also added in some dark leaves to break it up a bit. Plus, now all these elements are animatable, so the background is no longer still. When I sketched the new pose, I made sure to reference the old one. His expression is now determined and aggressive rather than a peaceful or even blank stare. I also made the collar of his shirt closer to his face to hide more of his neck, to show how closed off he can be. And I gave him back his hair spike. Next, I start adding the movement of the hair and coat. When I get to the line art, I make sure the head, hair, and coat are all separate pieces. This is because I'm not animating the face until later, so this will reduce the chance of visual mistakes happening like before. When I'm doing the shading, I'm making it a warm pink instead of purple to better match the environment. I'm also only adding highlights in the hair and making it spiky to indicate the texture. And now I'm just animating all the frames, always making sure to reference the previous one to keep consistency. After this, in a separate file where I can flatten all the layers, I add the lighting. It's a dark red with bright yellow rim lighting to match the clouds. I also add in that blink later for some realism. And here's the final animation with everything put together.
Hey, do you still remember the red color of that evening sky? Like the whole world was burning right before our eyes. Back when we made a promise, our words carried off into the wind. We held each other tight, but
Thank you for watching till the end of the video. I hope you found some of my tips useful and have now found new ways to approach your own animations. And I hope this gives you guys encouragement to keep working on your own animations. I'm sure you can improve as much as I have. If you've enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe. And until I post next, stay safe and I'll see you then. Bye!
To bring me some kind of news, but deep inside I knew those cold